Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to take a look at Carabelle Studio's gel printing plates, and I'm going to show you how to use them. They're actually a rubber textured plate that are designed to go with your gelatin printmaking plate, your gel press. They were designed in coordination with gel press, so they work great with them, but they'll work good with whatever you have. This one's nice because it has a sampler of a bunch of different designs. This one's great because it's like a collage, and excuse the green paint that I have on it, but I will link to these products below at our sponsor topflightstamps.com, and I'll put a 10% off coupon code in there, and also all their orders over 50 that ship in the United States ship for free. This one's also done as a collage, and this is a kind of a jumble of numbers and letters, and I think it's just kind of cool looking. Now, I played with these, and I gotta tell you, I was kind of using them like I would regular bold stencils and you know, stamps and combs and things like that, and I just wasn't getting the results I was after. And then I realized they did the work for me. I don't need to have every tool under the sun. I don't need to have every paint under the sun. I just need to let these things do the work, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. So without further ado, let's go to the table and I'll show you how it's done. I wanted to take a couple minutes first before we begin and just kind of show you these plates and how they're the same and different than, you know, your regular rubber stamps. So the first thing to note is that your printing plate is a thin sheet of rubber, but it's the same material that the Carabelle Studio stamps are made with, except the stamps would have cling foam on them, meaning they'll stick right to your block and you can stamp with them. Printmaking and stamping is they're really in the same vein. So these are just designs, and there's a lot of different ones. I like this because it has a sampler of different patterns on it. There's ones that have letters and numbers, and your letters and numbers when you're looking at the texture plate will be right way around. So that way when you ink them up on a printing plate and then you pull the print from the plate, it flips it around twice so you have it right way around again. Whereas if you had stamped on a like on a gel plate with a regular text or number stamp, it would be reversed when you pulled the print. So so that's why that's probably the big design difference, and you just want to know that. So if you are going to use these as big stamps, that you avoid ones that have the, you know, letters and numbers printed on them. But the other interesting feature on these is that they're already collaged with a lot of different designs. So they already look interesting, and you don't need to layer up like you would if you were doing traditional jelly printing. And this is just the packaging. The packaging does show you pretty clearly what you're going to get. I got paint all over that package, but you know, it's kind of a handy reference. I would keep the packaging if you can. So what I originally had planned on doing was printing on fabric, because I thought it would be really cool looking, but the fact that everything's already collaged and layered on the texture plate, it didn't give me a crisp, bold enough image, I felt, for using it on fabric or using it on paper with stencils the way I typically do. I feel like a lot of the subtle collage elements kind of got overwhelmed as I started to use my traditional layers I would do with gel printing. So I decided to think on it a bit, and I realized that, you know what, they've done all the work for me. I really don't need to layer up so much, so I decided to just kind of use the plates as is on my jelly plate with inks, and I was able to get some really great backgrounds that I could add a few things to and create some fun looking cards. So it's kind of like you get the look of complex jelly printing without all the work. And all I did here for embellishing was a little washi tape and some sequins, and I think it really looks fantastic. So I'm going to show you how to do these techniques, because it's honestly a lot simpler than other jelly printing techniques. And of course you can layer up any other rubber stamps you have, you know, to get some really interesting cards. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your plates ready. I've got a round one because I have the round texture plates, and they are sized for that. And I've got both Jelly Arts printing plates and gel press printing plates. I'm going to use a regular dye-based ink. This is the Kaleidocolor ink pad, and I actually just re-inked it so it would be nice and fresh and ready to go. And this is how I ink this. I just ink up one side. I'm actually going to push those together, and then I flip it around and ink up the other side. And I just kept this brayer with the ink I used previously so I didn't waste any. So now I've got this nice ombre on there. and I am just going to roll it over here, and I make sure I ink that up really well. Now I have to say that an ink pad that is not freshly inked is going to work a little bit better because it will want to bead up a little bit. I experimented using Distress Oxides on these plates because I had seen somebody from Carabelle Studios using the Distress Oxides, and I personally didn't like it quite as much as using the dye-based inks, but you can use whatever you have. So then what you want to do is take your plate and lay it down on your gel press plate or Jelly Arts plate, or you can make your own gelatin plate with unflavored gelatin. It doesn't really matter. And you just want to press it, and what you're doing here is going to be removing ink. So I'm going to lift this off, and you can see now I've got an inked up stamp basically. So here's what before we go and pull a print off there, I want to just grab a scrap of paper and show you how you could use these if you did not have a gel plate. You could just brayer this on, ink it up, put some paper down on top of it. You do want to burnish on the back to make sure you get good contacts. Remember, there's no foam on there, so you need to make sure that the paper is contacting with a stamp. And there you go. That's what it would look like as a stamped image. So you can see there how your numbers are reversed. There's some like random script there. You can tell it's reversed, but it's not a big deal. But I just want to let you know that, so if you're buying those plates to stamp with, you know what you're getting. So that's all inked up. I'm actually going to take an envelope because I made those cards earlier, and I'll make some envelopes to match. I'm going to set that down on there, and I actually like to take a kind of press over a piece of paper. I should take one that I didn't just, let's use one I haven't just stamped on so that I don't get ink on my hands. Burnish over the back. And that is the image you get from the gel plate. So the card that I did that was that I had a drier ink pad looked a little bit more crisp. So this one was an older, I had re-inked the pad since I did this one, so you can just see the difference. This is after your ink settles down, your ink pad has been you know, not freshly inked. You're going to get a better result there, a crisper, more clean result. And this one is with a freshly inked ink pad. And I also got a very similar look when I used the Distress Oxides on my press. This is what I got with just the Distress Oxides on my plate, brayered out. I got a very kind of speckled look. So you can see dye-based ink is right here, freshly inked dye-based ink, Distress Oxide ink, and this is the ink like it was an older ink pad, not freshly inked. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm over explaining, but I guess it's better to have a little bit too much information. So let's say you have that envelope and you want to add something to the edges, and that is pretty easy to do too. Now you can use it traditionally, so I'll show you a traditional way to do this. I will use another color ink pad. Now this one has not been freshly re-inked, so I'll go ahead and ink that up for you. And I'm just going to get a little ink on a portion of the plate because I don't need a lot of it on there. And then I can take the, let's take this one here because it's a little bit more bold. And we'll just press that right down. And remember, the purpose of this is to remove ink from the plate. Okay, so you can see I've got some ink on there. I could stamp that out onto a scrap if I wanted to. Make some wrapping paper or something, but you're not going to get as you know, as strong of an impression as if I had like inked up the rubber itself and stamped, obviously. And so then I can just kind of take the edges of my envelope and just get them in that if I want to. Just get a very subtle look. So that's not my favorite way to use that. I do like that really big collaged area there, but like I found when I don't know, if I'm not using a really dark ink, it doesn't really show up very well. But you know, you got to experiment with it and find some different options that way. So this one is about the same size as this plate. So what I want to do is ink it up, but I'm going to use a darker colorway here so it will show up a little bit better. And I'm going to brayer this on. I've got another clean brayer. Now, the only downside to using the inks is that I feel it's less messy, but I feel like I go through a lot more ink this way. Like, I feel like I end up washing a lot of the ink away from my brayer. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. I'm just going to have to ink this up twice with the size of this brayer. Just make sure that I line my ink up on my pad as I'm doing that, so I don't end up contaminating my ink pad. It's hard to do. This one is what the brayer I usually use for black ink, so it does, it's hard to tell where I have inked. Yeah, right now I am going to, let me soften that a little bit. Now I'm going to put this big plate here down, and I might actually end up using, oh no, I think it's wide enough, maybe. And really press that down, remove some ink. And then I think I'll just take this edge here and just get it on the edge to break that ink up a little bit. And now I'm going to do a full over print, just a full all over print on this envelope. And the reason I'm doing this on the envelope is because I think it'll be faint enough that I will still be able to write all my information on it because I haven't freshly inked that pad. But of course, layering up, if you get a bad spot, you know, use that for an area to embellish or to layer something over. And then you can see that's what it looks like with just the rainbow ink and the first generation off of that. We can see what a ghost print would look like. I don't know if there's enough on there, but we'll just do it with this envelope because, like I said, with the envelope, that's fine because you want to be able to write a an address on there. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. That ghost print is just right for an envelope. Actually, if you were to do this on a card base and do this on the envelope, that would be ideal because then you'd have a perfectly matching envelope. So if I wanted to turn this into a card like I did on the other parts, I'll show you how I did that just so you have that basis. Now something I like to do was just take any kind of like bold stamp. These are from Paper Artsy. I'm going to link everything up in the video description, so don't worry if you don't feel like you have to, you know, write everything down as we go. I'll have all these linked up at Top Flight Stamps, and I did check to make sure these stamps were in stock so that you wouldn't be disappointed. I'm just going to make sure I am stamping right way up, which this one confused me earlier. I think it goes that way. Make sure I give it a good squish. I'm not sure about the table if that's really flat there. And I like it when you start layering because you get a really cool effect. I like my washi tape. It's perfect for a card like this because it's going to be nice and flat. I can actually keep this as an envelope and hand deliver a card. I just really like the look of it. It's fairly inexpensive, and I think a lot of us have collected washi tape, so it's a good way to get some use out of it. Quick tip, if your washi tape ever gets stuck, you can't get it to peel off the roll, just heat it for a couple of seconds with a hairdryer or a heat tool, and that will loosen up the adhesive so you can get it free. That's saved me a few times. And I just try to find some tapes that go with what I have, what I've used. And you can always use your tape to cover up any part that didn't print very well. It's a great way to make the most of mistakes. Some of your tapes will have sayings on them, which can be really handy for embellishing or adding a sentiment to a card. This one says everything is going to be all right. That's a nice little cheerful, motivating note. Can just glue on a couple little sequins to embellish your card. I probably wouldn't put sequins on an envelope just because they'll probably flake off in the mail or even just like in your, you know, in your bag while you're carrying it someplace, but I just wanted to set them there just to give you the idea of how I had created the other cards. Even though this is an envelope, it still gives you a good idea. So first generation, we get this beautiful bold print. Second generation is perfect for an envelope. I'll show you the cards I made again because I'm really happy with the way they came out, and I thought they were a lot of fun. And the thing I really like about this product is that It does take the guesswork out of jelly printing, and if you've always wanted to try it but you're just a little overwhelmed with how many supplies you need to have and how messy it was, all you need is your gel plate and your ink pads for this, and you can get a very similar look without the fuss and without the mess. Personally, I don't mind making a big mess, but this is great for those times where you just want a quick background and you want to have that artsy look. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'd be happy to help you out. You can find all the products I used linked up in the video description from our sponsor topflightstamps.com. Don't forget to use the coupon code in the video description so you can save 10% on your order. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.